iRacing just released a brand new ARCA car, and while I could waffle about handling characteristics, I figured let's take this opportunity to dive into the data. I tested the Gen 4 ARCA car pre-build at 3 distinct tracks, Charlotte, Phoenix, and Stafford. 3 tracks, 3 driving styles, so what do the numbers tell us? Starting at the fastest, Charlotte Motor Speedway, this intermediate style venue represents most 1+ mile speedways with banking. I drove 10 laps in the old Gen 4 ARCA car and compared the output of those laps to 10 laps on the new ARCA car. Looking at our first data set, a couple of things jump out at me. First is the 4% decrease in lap time. A combination of corner speed and straight line speed helped achieve this. As we venture to smaller and smaller venues, we'll have to see how much of this lap time is generated on the straights versus in the corners. Looking at our tire data, I can't make any correlations to this soup. What I can tell you, and the single biggest percentage change so far, is centered around fall off. This new car fell off 25% less than the old car. We'll have to see if this hangs true at the other venues, but so far I'd say ARCA will require significantly less saving than before. Heading to our second venue, Phoenix Raceway, and some trends are starting to emerge. Again, we see a 3.5% decrease in lap time, 4% higher top speeds, and most importantly, a 27% decrease in fall off. Looking at the tires, overall the tires wore more, but were for the most part a bit colder than on the Gen 4. Particularly looking at the left front tire, it experienced 1% more wear, but 8% less heat buildup. All of this helped contextualize the massive decrease in fall-off experienced over the 10-lap stint. Finally, let's take a look at the half-mile Stafford Speedway. To even out the playing field, I did 15 laps at Stafford as to better correlate with the other 2 venues. Top speed was again faster, however the hot lap difference was only 2% this time. Now this could potentially be the indication that this car is primarily making up its lap time at the end of the straights. Now, looking at our tires, we see yet another jumbled mess of outputs. Hopefully when combined, something starts to stand out. As for the fall-off, we see an astounding 40% decrease in experienced fall-off. This is by far the largest change so far, and I do want to mention one slight difference in execution for this track. There unfortunately was no fixed setup for Stafford on the new ARCA car, so I tested many different setups out, settling on the Martinsville one as the best. This meant that unlike at Charlotte and Phoenix, the car was much more neutral through the corners. This enabled me to better manage the tires while staying at the limit. It's likely that with looser setups that the Charlotte and Phoenix fall-off could be even less than experienced on the current fixed setups. So averaging everything together, what can we make? The first is that this car is anywhere from 2 to 5% faster over a lap than the previous car, and most of this speed being made up on the straights and requiring a touch more lifting on entry than before. Another key difference is centered around left front heat. At all 3 tracks, the left front experienced significantly less heat buildup than before. Meanwhile, the other 3 tires jump back and forth, better and worse. The only thing I can conclude is that because the new ARCA car has a higher center of gravity, the car is rolling away from the left front more than previous. This could be incorrect, feel free to leave your theories in the comments. Finally, and most substantially, the fall-off. The average decrease in fall-off was 30%. This coupled with the dirty air effects show that for the most part, it'll make more sense to push early rather than save. Leaving the realm of data behind, here are my general thoughts on the new car. iRacing did an incredible job with the visual and handling model for this car. I have never been so immediately at home with a stock car, and it gives me extreme optimism for the future of oval racing on the service. The only issue being the remarkably tight fixed setups. However, if you adjust on them just a little bit, the car sits in yaw so well, and it's an absolute joy to hustle. Additionally, the racing dynamics of the car are extremely engaging. A side draft, pull up, aero wake, there's a lot going on in a pack of cars, and it's easily some of the most fun you can have on an oval. With that being said, I do wish that in the future, iRacing could add side force loss dynamics to the car. It plays an outsized role in real-life driving of the car, and I think it would add an extra layer of engagement in the sim. But it also might result in a lot of crashes, so, buyer beware. If you are on the fence about buying the new ARCA car, I could highly recommend it. However, if you aren't convinced yet, I got a little something that might win you over.
Just say your breath. All of your words feel like a jail. Blocks the sun and makes me stale. Not enough gold in all the world, so why have I surrendered to your abusive ways? The cracks have opened up to the core. Is there anywhere to go from here now? Swallow the pain, a bit disturbed by these displays. Now we've got nothing to say, the silence growing delay. So here we are drifting apart, neither willing to drop their guard. Haven't we got something to say? The distance growing delay. 30 years and years of pain. The cracks go deeper than we can say.
What?
Shout out Dylan Basen, won me that race.